Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be looking at multiplying using the grid method, which is something that I didn't really learn in school, but I do find it's quite a useful method. So if you are struggling to use column multiplication, have a go at using this grid method. So as a basic one to start us off with the grid method, essentially what we do is we create a grid, no kidding, and then what we do is we split the numbers up. So instead of saying 15, I'm going to say that's 1, 10, and 5 ones. Okay, so we just write it like that. I've got a 10 and a 5. And then the 3, we write it like that. And then all you do with the grid method is you multiply the separate parts. So it's just to make the multiplication a bit easier. Instead of going 15 times 3, now we can say 3 times 10 gives us 30. And then the next one we can say 3 times 5 gives us 15. And all we have to do from there is get the total of those two, and that will give us the total of the multiplication. So if we go 30, add 15, we are going to get 45. And that is our final answer, 45. So really, the most tricky part with the grid method, as you can see, is just setting up the grid. But once you have that set up, it makes the rest of your multiplication really, really straightforward. Let's have a look at another one to see if we can get this method cemented. So again, 22 times 5. So I know I don't want to work with 22. I'd rather work with 20 and then 2. Okay, that makes 22 and then 5. So if I split my grid, I'm going to put one of the numbers on the top here. So let's say I'm going to put my 20 on there and my 2. And I'm going to put my 5 at the bottom. And then, same as last time, all we're going to do, multiply the separate parts. So 5 times 20, or we could think 5 times 2 is 10, add a 0. And then 5 times 2 is 10. And then all we do, we get the total of those two. So let's say we add these two up. 100 add 10 gives us 110 in total. And that is our answer there for that one. Exactly the same principle applies when we have bigger numbers. We just break up all the parts and go from there. So again, this one 23. So I'm going to look at 20, I'm going to look at 3. And then the same thing for the second number. So for 15, I'm going to work with 10 and I'm going to work with 5. Okay, so let's draw our grid, same as before. Let's put 20 on the top, so 23. And on the side, we're going to put 15, so we're going to put 10 and 5. And all you'll see is the bigger the number gets, the more parts we have to add up, but exactly the same process. So let's go through. 10 times 20 is going to be 200. If you think of 1 times 2 is 2, and then you add all the zeros. 5 times 20, 5 times 2 is 10, add the 0. Then we look at the next part, so let's get a different color for that. We've got 10 times 3 is 30, and 5 times 3 is 15. And then, same as usual, we've got more numbers in here now, but exactly the same process, we've got to add all of these up. Okay, so you don't have to add it up in your head. We're going to go 200, add 100 gives us 300, add 30 gives us 330, and then add the 15. We are going to end up with 345 as our final answer. So that one, 345, even though the grid is a little bit more complicated, still really straightforward, quick multiplication there. We'll do another few. So try with these ones now. They're getting a little bit more challenging. I think if you've got the basic concept, you'll easily be able to do them. So if you want to, then pause it, have a go at it, and then check your answer with me in a sec. So this one, we can say this is 450. And this 12, we can say it's a 10 and a 2. And then let's just make our grid from there. So we've got 400 and we've got 50. And on the other side, we've got 10 and we have 2. Okay, same as always, let's start our multiplying. So 10 times 400, we know it's going to be 1 times 4 is 4, and then we just put all the zeros on there. So that's going to be 4,000. 10 times 50, 500. 2 times 400 is 800. 2 times 50 is 100. And then all we're doing is adding up all of these in there. So 4,000 plus 800. Let's just write that down just so we keep track of it. 4,000 plus 800, so we got 4,800. 4,800 plus 100, we got 4,900. And then 4,900 plus that final 500 is going to give us 5,400 as our total answer for that one. And then one last one. This is quite a big challenge one just because it's really big numbers, but exactly the same principle, doesn't matter how it looks. So 4,501, that means we've got a 4,000, we've got a 500, and we've got 1. This one we've got 100, and we've got a 20. So same thing, make our grid. What we're going to do, 4,000, 500, and 1. And then on this side, we've got the 100 and the 20. Same thing, let's go through. So 100 times 4,000. So that is actually going to be 4. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. Really nice big number for us. 100 times 500. So it's going to be 1 times 5 is 5. And then let's fit all those zeros in there. So we've got 4 zeros there. 100 times 1 is 100. 20 times 4,000 is going to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. 20 times 500, 2 times 5 is 10. And let's add all those zeros. 1, 2, 3. Sorry, I've added one too many zeros there. And then the final one, we've got 20 times 1 is 20. Okay, so I know I went through those really quickly. You can take your time sorting those parts out. Let's see now if we can add all of this inside part up to get our total. So this first one, if we add a comma in here just to help us, that's 400,000. This is 50,000. This is 80,000. This is just 1,000. And then 120. So let's start off. We've got 400,000 plus 50,000. So that's going to give us 450,000. We can then, so we've used this one now, we've used the 50,000, let's add this 80,000, so 450,000, add the 80,000, that is going to give us 530,000, so, and then we can add the 1,000, the 100, and the 20, so we are ultimately going to get 531,120 as our final answer. Okay, I know that was a super quick crash course on the grid method. Let me know if you want me to go through it slower or go through specific examples, but I hope it helps and I hope you consider using this method in the future.